Oh, I didn't get just negative feedback. I didn't get just bad negative feedback. I got the worst eBay feedback in the history of the universe, and none of it made sense to me. It started off as a nice, clear, sunny day. It ended up getting dark really fast. I woke up to a message from eBay stating the buyer had opened an item not delivered case. Fine, no problem. I've told you before how to handle that. If the item really wasn't delivered, if it doesn't show delivered, it's up to you to try to find it, do tracking, file a lost item at the post office. It's up to you to refund the buyer until you can find it or whatever. You might think, well, if the post office loses it, it's not my fault. Well, it's really not your buyer's fault, and it is your responsibility to get it to the buyer. If the post office loses the package, then you have to file an insurance claim with the post office and get your money back, but you need to make the buyer right. You didn't deliver it, even though it wasn't your fault. So I meandered into my office where I process these types of things, iced coffee in hand, as I am wont to do every day, open up the messages that I'd seen on my phone, look at the item not delivered case, click on tracking, and it showed delivered. So this was a common problem. An item does show delivered, but the buyer says it was never delivered. Perhaps porch pirates stole the item. Perhaps some other member of his family brought it in. Lots of things can happen. I sent my usual message detailing the following. This is generally what I say. I'll say it looks as though you have an item not delivered, but it shows delivered. This happens. Often, your local post office will scan it wrongly as delivered instead of received, but it will usually be delivered the next day. So give it one more day. Now, what I didn't tell you is because I didn't realize it that morning, right at that moment, but it showed delivered that morning. He must get his mail pretty early, but I think it is a business address. He got his mail early. This morning it shows delivered, but he filed not delivered last night. That's when he opened the case. Oh, this is the way my universe works. I'll wait on something, it never arrives. I'll file a item not delivered case with whoever, and that's when it comes. That's, within an hour, I get a knock on the door and the package is delivered. That's the way my universe works. It's kind of the way his universe seemed to work. He said item not delivered the night before. I, of course, shipped on time because I always ship on time, because when I tell you to always ship on time, I practice what I preach. I always honor my promise to my buyers that we will ship within our stated handling time, and I get a scan to prove that. He wanted his item. He filed not delivered. The next morning it arrived. Okay, I just figured he'll close the case. So all was well and good. Or so I thought. An hour or two went by, and I'm just doing my usual listing of everything that day. Listing of everything, handling, printing packing slips, getting ready to go in and ship early morning, package everything for shipping. You should always do that early in the morning in case there are any shipping problems. You have time to deal with them before you miss shipping deadlines. I'm just looking around my account and leaving feedback and just doing general stuff that I do every day. And I happen to run across this little tidbit, which I will call the worst eBay feedback in the history of the universe. It says, on the item I just told you about, terrible experience with this seller, exclamation point. One of the worst transactions I have ever made on eBay was buying from this seller, exclamation point. Avoid this seller at all costs, exclamation point. Let that soak in. I am not exaggerating anything that's happened to this point. He filed an item not delivered case. I said, we'll work with you on it. It's all handled. Usually the buyer is as happy as O.J. Simpson at a knife convention, but he didn't seem to like something about this deal. What in the world happened? This feedback that would give me my first negative feedback in over 11,000 transactions. Well, I immediately go into the process of dealing with this. One, I pick up the phone and call him. I've shown you how to call an eBayer who's done business with you. If someone buys something from you or sells something to you, eBay always gives you their phone number. So I called him up. Now, what's my plan when I get on the phone? I'll tell you what my plan is. Oh, Mr., and I use his last name. Oh, Mr. Smith, I'll say. Oh, Mr. Smith, I'm here with my wife, and she was with me, but she was in the next room, but I'm here with my wife, and we're the ones that sold you the cleaner that you bought from us, and we're concerned about why you're so dissatisfied. We want to make it right, and we want to get something into your hands that's going to work for you. His response was, oh, and then he hung up on me. Okay, so I text that number. I don't know if it's a cell phone number or not, but I texted. We got disconnected. You might be too busy to talk right now. We understand. We just saw the feedback. We're very concerned about what we did wrong. We honestly don't know, but we would like to know, and we would like to make everything right. And I probably said, of course, you can return it. That's really what I want, is for him to return this thing. Whatever he doesn't like about it, but I don't even know if he's got it yet. That's the problem. Was it delivered? Was it not delivered? If it was delivered and he had opened up an item not delivered case, well, okay, so it was delivered, close the case. You don't have to say this about me. If it got delivered, maybe you feel bad you opened an item not delivered case. I don't know, but don't feel bad enough to leave this feedback. It doesn't make any logical sense, right? So I texted him. And then I immediately did what I always do. by eBay message, and I said, as you know, we attempted to call, but you might be too busy to talk right now. I'm being generous by saying that. He hung up on me, but I'm not going to say, why'd you hang up on me, you jerk? I want to interact with this guy. I want to know what the problem is. So I said, we sent the following text message to your phone, but just in case it's not a cell phone, we also wanted to send you an eBay message with the same information. And went into, we just feel terrible about whatever happened. We really want to know what it is so we don't let it happen in the future. But more importantly, we want to make it right with you. Whatever the problem, please return it. We will give you full refund and give all your money back. Remember, anytime someone returns something, when you accept the return and issue the refund, the negative or the neutral feedback for that item will disappear. Anytime you issue a refund, even if you did something wrong, if it was an item not described, no matter how wrong you were, your feedback will go away if the buyer returns it to you and you issue a refund. But I went on and I said, we will find one of these for you. If something's wrong with the one we sent, we not only will refund you, we will find a brand new one on eBay or somewhere, and we're going to get it into your hands right away. Well, a little time went by. To me, it seemed like, an eternity. Probably was only 10 minutes. He decided he would answer my eBay message. Maybe he knows eBay can read these and we're trying our best to deal with him and he is not dealing with us. And maybe he just thought, I need to answer this guy. So he wrote back and said, I know I filed an item not delivered case. It was delivered today, this morning, but it took longer than I expected and I almost didn't have it for a job that I needed it for. Okay, I'm so sorry. We shipped it on time. Now, he happened to pay on a Friday. After mail had gone out and everything, after the cutoff, he paid on a Friday, which means we ship on Monday. That was an automatic 2 days added to the delivery time, but he should know that. I mean, anybody who orders something Friday afternoon or whatever time it was, probably it won't go out till the following Monday. If we didn't ship till Monday, which is on time according to eBay and our handling time, did we deserve this feedback? I don't think so. But he says, well, it took longer than I expected, and I almost didn't get it in time for a job I needed it for. Now let's look at this feedback. Terrible experience with this seller. One of the worst transactions I've ever made on eBay was buying from this seller. Avoid this seller at all costs. Do you see a disconnect here? I see a disconnect here. This doesn't make sense to me. It's hard for me to take his reasoning of it took longer than he expected. It's harder for me to accept this feedback. I don't really see that as being worthy of this feedback. This puts a bad taste in my mouth, worse than a 99-cent shrimp cocktail at Circus Circus in Las Vegas. So I messaged him back and I said, oh, wow, well, we see that you paid on a Friday after the mail went out. There was the weekend to our delivery just because of the weekend. And I said, but please know, we will gladly issue a refund. Finish the job, open a return case. Even if you've used it, no problem. Just return it to us. We will issue a full refund, including your return shipping, the moment we get it back. Now, if you're a top-rated seller, you can refund as little as 50%. If you shipped it new, which I did, and they return it used, but all I want is this refund. I want to bribe him into doing this return so that this feedback drops off my record. And I said, not only will we refund the item back to your payment method, not only will we refund both shipping directions that you've had to mess with, but we also, this is above and beyond. Hardly anyone would do this. It's probably silly, but I said, we also will get a brand new one into your hands overnight from eBay or Amazon or wherever we can find one. So the moment it hits our hands, used, opened, we will refund you and immediately overnight you a brand new one. We want to make it right. Now that was way above and beyond what I should have done, what I should have offered. But I'm bribing, you get it? Sometimes you've got to just take a poison pill. Sometimes you have to bribe a buyer to do the right thing, to return it so this feedback goes away. I said one more thing. This is our family business. It's our income. And such a bad feedback really harms our sales because other buyers think they can't trust us. We truly feel terrible about this feedback, but we feel worse that you feel so bad and we want to make it right. He wrote back and he said, send me a feedback revision request and I'll change it. Wow, great. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't think it would be any worse if he revises this feedback. Now, a lot of buyers don't even know you can send them a feedback revision request for them to fix bad feedback. I noticed he sells a few things. So he's a seller as well, not a big one, but he sells a few things as well as buys a lot of things. And he knew that I could send him a feedback revision request. He then next said, and I'm going by memory of the messages that he would send through eBay, but then he said something like, I've had a bad day. Your item took too long to arrive. But he said, but I ordered about 7 of these and all of them came back dirty and used when they were supposed to be new except yours. He said, I got confused. Okay, that happens? Great. That means when I send him a feedback revision request, he might really revise it and make it positive. I mean, he might. He should, but he might. Guy's having a bad day. He took it out on me. He should have been more careful. I'm not the reason for all of the bad eBay sellers that he dealt with over the last few days on this type of item that he ordered multiples of. But I told him the following. Thank you. We will immediately send you a revision request right now. Our offer still stands. If you want to return that, we will give you a full refund and we will get another one in your hands overnighted. I'm still offering this bribe that will ultimately remove his feedback if needed. If he changes this from a terrible worded feedback to just a negative, fairly badly worded feedback, I still want it removed. If he changes it from a negative feedback to a neutral, I still want it removed. I don't want a neutral feedback messing up my perfect 11,300 feedback history, all positive. I don't want a neutral. I want it to go away. So I'm still offering him that bribe, but I said, we'll be glad to. Thank you. My family really appreciates that. Bad feedback can really hurt our sales, and we rely on these sales. So I sent the feedback revision request. Where do you do that? Right here. You go to, well, it already says I requested it because I did at this point, because I saved this so that you could see it. But there will be a message underneath Report This Buyer that says something like request feedback revision. I don't know the exact words. I just am not used to getting negative feedback, and I don't remember what it said. But on all negative feedback, there's a link that says request feedback revision, something like that. And when you click it, it will send the buyer a note from you along with a request that they can click and revise this feedback. And I said, thank you so much again. I offered the bribe again. Thank you so much. My family really appreciates your willingness to help us understand this feedback and to revise it. And our offer still stands. Return the item when you're done with it. We'll give you a full refund, and we will overnight a new one to you. An hour later, I got a message from eBay saying they was revised. About 6 hours later, and I'm telling you the truth, I didn't look at my feedback. I was just too nervous. I didn't want to look at it. About 6 hours later, I finally looked at the feedback. And here's what he left. Very nice sellers to deal with generally seem concerned about the buyer satisfaction. Thank you. Now, I would say I really seemed concerned about the buyer satisfaction. Like more than you've ever dealt with anybody you've ever bought from in your life. I was more than concerned, and I made it clear. But I love this feedback. Thank you. Very nice sellers to deal with generally seem concerned about the buyer satisfaction. Positive feedback. He changed the worst feedback in the history of the universe to a pretty good positive feedback. And I appreciate it. And he didn't say anything about the return. Is he going to return the item when he's done with it? I suspect not. I think he was just had a mad on about all the problems he's had with eBay this week. I think if he had really realized I wasn't one that sent him a used item when I said it was new, I don't think he would have left that feedback. But whatever the deal is, I don't think he's going to take me up on my bribe. I don't think he's going to return it. I think everything's fine. And everything's sure fine on my end. I would rather shampoo a room full of porcupines than see feedback like this ever again the rest of my life. I mean, I'd take a room full of hairdressers to go see Snoopy on Ice before I would ever want to see feedback like this again. But it turned out great. It took me a lot of time, a lot of messing with it. I should not have had to deal with this, and yet all's well that ends well. I live to fight another day, and this is the general process I go through on these types of issues, although it's never been this bad. But what will I do to protect my feedback score? What do you think? I'll do just about anything. It's my business. It's important to. It should be important to you to fight for your business. What would you have done? Let me know down below. Please let me know. What would you have done? Would you have kind of followed my process? Would you have written the guy out of anger? He's not going to talk to you on the phone. He's pretty angry. But what would you have done? Would you have ignored it and just accepted the first? But see, if this were my first bad feedback, I want to deserve it. I want to have really messed up and know that I messed up and deserve this negative feedback. I can deal with that. I believe in reproof and correction. I'm all for it. If I make a big mistake and get bad feedback, I'm never making that mistake again. I will learn from it. This, I couldn't learn because I didn't know what was wrong. I hope you've learned something here. I hope this maybe gives you some ideas the next time something possibly similar happens to you, although I sure hope it doesn't happen to you.